I was about to film another Q&A video, and one or two Q&A videos ago, I had guest question reader Herbs and Rye, so I thought this time, might as well get another guest question reader, and this guy happens to be right over there.
Are you paid in cash by the end of the day? How are the taxes situation?
Yes, I am filming this much later than I filmed Trooper, reading the questions. Had a scheduling conflict, not really a conflict, had to get somewhere. So he read the questions, I left. Now I'm reading my answers. Let me pull this up on my phone so I remember the questions in the first place. First question I remember, it was, are you paid in cash by the end of the day? And a question about taxes. I get the cash tips. If I'm dealing cash games and get a cash tip, that's it. I cash it out at the end of the day. That's the only cash I get at the end of the day. The wage is in the paycheck. The tournament downs are in the paycheck. Tips they leave for the tournaments are added to the paycheck. Yeah, the only thing I get is the cash tips and taxes. I think this question was submitted much before the tax video was created and published. So link at the top to the video I created on taxes.
What's the difference between the dealers who get the best tips versus the worst tips? Have you ever experimented with different strategies to get better tips?
So I don't know this one for a fact, but I would say the biggest reason is like efficiency, which includes speed, includes not making mistakes, including not making mistakes so severe especially that you need to call the floor over. All those things just waste time. Also, it helps if you're attractive, especially an attractive woman. Also, it helps if you're like social and interesting and maybe make some jokes. Have I experimented? Not really. There's a lot. There's a lot to think about during a cash game, especially at Orleans, where there's so many different games and kills and promos and things like that. I'm usually just focusing on not trying to make mistakes in the cash games. I talk a little bit in the tournaments, not that it does anything, like I don't get tournament tips like you would in a cash game, but there's like less going on, so I'm like, my mind's a little more free to like listen to the conversations and say things myself.
The next time you make a mistake, will you keep the profits?
Okay, don't know exactly what's meant by this question. I think it means like maybe I'm dealing Omaha 8 or any game and like push the pot to the wrong player and then the players need to correct me. Would I still accept the tip? Yeah, I'll accept any tip anyone gives me. I would imagine generous tippers don't care and just tip generously. I would imagine appropriate tippers, if that happened, like would have tipped me more had I not made that mistake or like been inefficient in the hand, and like I'm still getting a tip. It's just smaller than if I had dealt the hand much better. There was an instance, this isn't exactly the question, a guy asked me to rabbit hunt, and as he folded the river, which ended the hand, he put $1 on his cards. He's like trying to tip me to rabbit hunt, to show what the, I guess it was on the turn. So someone bet the turn, he folded, that ended the hand. He wanted to see what the river card would have been, and he left $1 on his folded cards as like a thank you / bribe. To do that, I said, I'm not allowed to do that, and I took his cards but threw his $1 back to him, and he still said, just take it anyway. So that's like the closest, I guess, I've come to that scenario.
Have you had anyone rude to you while you're dealing?
Yeah, they're rude people all the time. Some people are just mad at the dealer if they're losing. Some people are mad because I'm dealing lefty. Some people are mad because, like, I don't know, I like cut the cards at a different time than they would cut the cards. If they were dealing, there are people who don't understand that the big blind ante, it's very, very important that the exact big blind ante is in the middle before I deal the first pre-flop card in games that have big blind antes. And when I take the deck in my hand and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and the big blind is just incredibly slow or not even paying attention, I need to wait till I get that. There are people who think I'm just like lazy and not getting hands out fast enough. I need the big blind ante before I can start dealing. So yeah, plenty of rude people. I don't know, I don't find it worse. I was told before I started like Orleans is like the worst casino in the world for rude players. Haven't noticed that. Definitely not the worst. I've seen worse. You know, I'm dealing at Orleans. I've played elsewhere. Seen way worse elsewhere in Vegas, elsewhere in the country. I don't know, maybe they are. I'm not just noticing it. But yeah, if the answer is yes or no, the answer is yes.
Are you engaging with the players and yucking it up, or are you very quiet and reserved?
This is kind of like that other question. I'm engaging when the game allows it. When there's not so much going on that my entire focus needs to be on running the game. So in tournaments, usually there's the availability of like part of my mind to like listen intently to the conversations and maybe join the conversations, but in cash, it's rare.
What your favorite game to deal?
Excellent question. Favorite game to deal? Tournaments, Raz, even though I actually didn't deal the Raz tournament. I have dealt Raz and Horse. To me, Raz is just so easy. It's easier than No Limit Hold'em. So like, we get our $15 per down guaranteed for No Limit Hold'em tournaments for each 30 minutes, and it's $20 for any other game. I feel like in PLO, you really earn that extra money. In Omaha 8, you earn it. Those are more difficult games to deal than No Limit Hold'em. In 8-game mix, in Horse, you earn it. I feel like Triple Stud is not more difficult, maybe about the same. I feel like Raz is just easier. So like, I'm getting paid more. I mean, I didn't get to deal it, but if I did, I would have been getting paid more to deal Raz than No Limit Hold'em. It's a single pot game, and I just enjoy Raz, so that's part of it also. So Raz, as it relates to tournaments, cash, probably game and stakes, 2-5 No Limit. It's very easy to deal because a lot of hands at Orleans, not so many of them are like raise and everyone folds. So there's a raise and a call, or especially a raise and 2 calls. Like, many flops, you're at max rake. There's $50 in the pot, which is max rake, max promo drop, and that's it. I don't need to keep track of the pot size for any other reason. So there's $2 over the promo shoot, there's $5 over the rake, there's no kills, so I don't need to keep counting the pot to see if a kill is triggered. There's no low hands to read like in Omaha 8. It's just a very easy game to deal, and it's entertaining because it's 1,500 deep. There are raises, there are calls, there are all-ins, there are multi-way flops. It's an easy game to deal, a fun game to watch the hands play out. It's entertaining, so that's probably my favorite cash game and stake to deal at Orleans.
Average amount made from tips in cash-only games.
Average amount made from tips? That will, stay tuned. There will be a video. It will be the video where I talk about dealing tournaments versus cash, and it will be mentioned. It won't be like the major theme, but it will be one of the metrics used to show you my opinion on dealing tournaments versus cash. So stay tuned for that. And if you're wondering, Bryce, are you wearing sunglasses at night? I am. I had these on when I was at the farmer's market, and it was really sunny. They were necessary. Just kind of left them on. These are very interesting glasses. They protect you from the sun. They don't really make it darker. So it's like the same. I'm like seeing the same right now with them on, even if I didn't. Something interesting, because I hear there's a song written by Corey Hart, or at least he was the singer, Sunglasses at Night. I was talking to someone who mentioned Corey Hart, and from context, I knew it wasn't the baseball player. I said, there's no chance you're talking about the outfielder for the Brewers, right? And I was correct. It was the singer who, yes, I've heard this song. I didn't know the name of the singer, but yeah, it's in the soundtrack of a lot of movies. I've heard the song before. But if you say Corey Hart, I'm going to think Brewers outfielder. He did have a very short stint with the Mariners and another very short stint with the Pirates, but most people know him for his time with the Brewers. So that's going to be it for this Q&A. At least one more Q&A coming your way until I get to all those questions that you guys left when I created that poll. And remember, rice is a spoon food.